Hello everyone, welcome to 8085 microprocessor lecture series. This is lecture number 5. We will be starting with the various data formats. In case of 8085, it requires the binary data, but it is difficult for us to give the data in binary format. So we can represent the data in various codes. The binary data can be represented in various formats. The first is the ASCII format, American Standard Code for Information Interchange. So this is actually a 7-bit code. 7-bit code. Okay. So we can represent numbers, alphabets also. So we can represent numbers from 0 to 9 and alphabets also A to Z. But in this case will be because generally the code is represented in 4-bit. If the code is of 8-bit, we represent in 2 4-bit codes. Okay. So the combination can be from 0 0 0 0 to 1 1 1 1. Okay. So it can go from number 0 to 9 and from A to F. Then the other coding scheme is the other data format is the BCD code. BCD code is a 4-bit code, but it only represents numbers from 0 to 9, and rest all the other we cannot represent alphabets using BCD code, because for 4-bit code we have from 0 0 0 to 1 1 1 1, but BCD code it only goes from 0 0 0 to 1 0 0 1. After 1 0 0 1, all the other combinations they are not allowed. They are invalid combinations. Then we have signed integer. Signed integer in case of signed integer format, if we have a 8-bit number, so in case of this 8-bit number, suppose we are writing a number like this one. Okay, this one. So this is number 5, and this 7 bits, first 7 bits, they represent the magnitude, and this represents the sign of the number. This represents the sign of the number. So only 7 bits are available when we are representing a number in signed format, because the leftmost bit it represents the sign. Generally 0 is taken as positive and 1 is taken as negative. So we only have 2 raised to 7, that is we have 128 combinations. Then in case of unsigned, so of course 128 means we can go from plus 128 to not 128, 127 to minus 127, and so on. And in case of unsigned integer, all the 8 numbers can be used. So we have 2 raised to 8 combinations. So we have we can run from 0 to 256. Because here we don't need to represent, we don't need this negative positive sign, so we can go from 0 to 255, actually not 25, 255. So these numbers can be represented using the unsigned integer when we have 8 bits. So next topic is microprocessor architecture and its operation. So what is the meaning of this architecture? Architecture is the logic design to realize the microprocessor, and the operations also. So first we'll study the operations performed by microprocessor, and then we'll come to the architecture part. So the operations performed by microprocessor, they can be of we can distribute in then 3 categories. The first category is the microprocessor initiated operations. Then second is internal data operations. Third is externally initiated operation. It is also called as peripheral operations. They are also called as peripheral operations. So these are the 3 categories of operations which are performed by 8085. Now the first category is the microprocessor initiated operation. Okay. So this operation, that it can further be divided into 4 types. Okay. The first is the memory read, second is memory write, input output read, and input output write. So in case of microprocessor, we have microprocessor can read from the memory, for which we have this memory read. So using this memory read operation, the microprocessor reads either the data or the instructions from the memory. Then memory write, okay, it writes the instruction to the memory after selecting the memory. Then input output read, it can read the input from the input device. Then it can write the output onto the output device. So in all these operations, the very first thing is to select that particular device or particular memory location and then transfer the data. So this is what we have in case of microprocessor initiated operation. Then the second category is the internal data operations. So there are 5 types. First is store 8-bit data. Second is perform arithmetic logic operations. Third is sequence the execution of instructions. Fourth is test for conditions. Fifth is store data temporarily during the execution of the program. The first is store 8-bit data. Now in case of 8085 microprocessor, the data bus is of 8 bits, so it can only store 8 bit at a time, not more than 8 bit at a time, because the data bus is of 8 bits. So in case we have 8 bit data bus, so therefore it can only store 8 bit data at a time. Then second is perform arithmetic logic operations. So microprocessor 8085, it performs varieties of arithmetic logic operations such as addition, subtraction, increment, decrement. Then with respect to logic, we have ANDing, ORing, XORing, etc. Then the third is sequence the execution of instructions. So when we are writing the instructions, those instructions, they are present in the memory. Okay, so they are written in the sequence, one after the other. Suppose these lines, they represent the instructions. So microprocessor, it starts with the very first instruction, then goes to the second, then third, and so on until it encounters some jump instruction. So it goes in the sequence. So this is one of the internal data operation, that all the instructions must be executed in a sequence. Then number 4 is test for conditions. So there can be varieties of conditions. We have flag registers. In case of 8085, we have flag registers. There are 5 flags. So with respect to that flags, we can check some conditions, like suppose with respect to carry flag. So whether we can check whether a carry is generated or not, and if it is generated, what to do. If it is not, then what to do. Similarly, for respect to parity, the parity can be odd, parity can be even. So we can check the condition whether the parity is odd or even, and so on. Okay. Then the last, fifth one is the store data temporarily during the execution. Many times what happens, we want to store the data temporarily while execution is going on. So that area is called as a stack. So we store the data onto the stack, and of course we can retrieve from the stack also. So it is done using the stack operation. So this is the fifth operation, which is called as which is the store data temporarily during the execution. The third category is the externally initiated operations. There are 4 operations: reset, ready, hold, interrupt. These operations are also called as peripheral operations. The first is the reset operation. So reset operation, of course, when we press the reset key, with respect to microprocessor, all the operations are suspended, and it starts from executing from 0000 again. Okay, it is like rebooting the system. Then we have ready. This ready signal is used to synchronize with the slower peripherals. So this signal, if a microprocessor is sharing some data with is transferring some data to any of the output device, then if the output device, the speed of the output device is slow, then this ready signal can be used to synchronize that slower peripheral with respect to the microprocessor. The third is the hold signal. Hold signal is used in some data transfer operation, for example DMA, direct memory access. When this DMA device, when it wants the control of the buses, so it gives the hold signal to the microprocessor. So microprocessor completes its microprocessor gives the hold acknowledge signal and completes the current instruction, and then gives the control of the bus to the DMA device, and DMA device, it handles the some data, special data transfer operations. So hold operation is used for that purpose. Then number 4 is interrupt. Interrupts are signals which are used by external devices, which can be used by external devices to interrupt the processor, so that the microprocessor can service those devices. Okay, those devices, they need the attention of the processor, so they interrupt the processor. Microprocessor completes its current instruction and then goes to that particular service routine program, okay, that interrupt routine program, and then comes back to its work. Okay, so there are two types of interrupt. One are maskable, other are non-maskable. In case of maskable, the processor can ignore those interrupts, and in case of non-maskable, the processor cannot ignore the interrupts. It has to attend anyhow. So these are the four externally initiated operations. Now after going to the operations of 8085, we see the architecture of microprocessor 8085. Starting with the first part, there is a bus structure of 8085 microprocessor. So this diagram, it represents the gives the bus structure of 8085. We see there are three bus: address bus, data bus, and control bus. They together they are also called as a system bus. As seen from the diagram, we see this a address bus. So address bus, bus is a collection of wires, of course. So here address bus, it goes from A0 to A15. So in all there are 16 address lines. So this 16 address lines, they make up the address bus. A0, A1, A2 up to 15, we have 16 actually. And then we have the data bus. So data bus is from D0 to D7. So there are 8 data lines, and there are some control lines which make up the control bus. Now let us see them in detail here. So first the address bus. So what we see in case of address bus of 8085, there are address bus, there are, the first one is the address bus is consists of 16 lines. Okay, it consists of 16 lines. The second thing, address bus is unidirectional. As we can see in the diagram, this arrow, it is only going from the microprocessor towards the peripheral devices. So this is going out only. So this we can say address bus is unidirectional. Now what can be the function of the address bus? Of course, address bus is used to find the address find address of memory location, as well as peripherals or the input outputs. So this is the use of address bus. The name suggests itself suggests as we have seen the various operations of 8085, one of the operation was memory read, memory write, input output read, input output write. So in order to write into the input or output or memory, we need to first identify. So for identifying, this address bus is used. Now the significance of address bus. See, what is the significance of address bus? In this case, as we have 16 address lines, so microprocessor 8085, it can address up to 2 raised to 16 locations. Okay, so this is the it can only address up to 2 raised to 16 location. It is 65,536, which roughly comes to 64 KB. So this gives the memory capacity. Okay, so more the number of address lines, more is the system capacity. So address lines, the significance of address lines is that it gives the system capacity. More the number of address lines, more is the capacity of the system. So here, because we have only 16 address lines, therefore the capacity of this 8085 is only 64 KB. Then next is the data bus. Okay, so data bus is of course of 8 lines. Next we see the data bus. So data bus, it consists of 8 lines, and here what we observe is this data bus is bidirectional. Bits can flow in both the directions. So the second thing about the data bus, it is bidirectional. Okay, bits can flow in both the directions. It is bidirectional. The third thing, the use of data bus, of course, as the name suggests, so data bus is used to transfer the data and instructions. Which are present in the input, output, or memory. So the data can flow to and fro from peripherals to the microprocessor, and microprocessor to peripherals. So this the use of data bus is to transfer data and instructions. Now the fourth point is the significance of the data bus. Now see, the significance of data bus is that more the number of data lines, more data can be transferred at a time. In our case we just have 8 bits. In case of microprocessor 8085 there are only 8 bits, so it can only transfer 8 bits at a time. And the microprocessor is well known by its data bus. We say 8085 is a 8-bit microprocessor. Why it is called as 8-bit microprocessor? Because the data bus is of 8-bit. Now in our mobile phone and even in our PCs we use a 64-bit, there is a 64-bit processor. So of course if we say it is a 64-bit processor, it means the data bus is of 64-bit. So data bus, it gives the speed of the system, okay, the performance we can say. So data bus, it gives the performance of the system. More the number of data lines, more faster is the processor. Okay, so it is one of the factors which can actually speed up the system. Then finally we have a control bus. Okay, so the third is the control bus. Now control bus is a set of lines, control lines, and they are responsible for providing necessary timing and control signals. So it is the use of control bus is to provide timing and control signals, that's all. Okay, so this is the use of a control bus. Okay, it is used to provide the necessary timing and control signals. So that's regarding the bus structure of 8085. Okay, so that's all for this session. Okay, thanks for watching.